This is the Upcoming Podcast with your host, Zach Collins.
Hey everybody, this is the Upcoming Podcast, and I'm your host, Zach Collins. As many people know, the Upcoming Podcast is for upcoming athletes that are always working towards that extra mile, or in this case, getting another dig on the floor. As I'll introduce today's upcoming athlete, Hannah Nelson from Exire EHK volleyball team, among many other Spartan athletic teams as well. So, Hannah, just welcome to the podcast and introduce yourself a little bit to the audience.
I'm Hannah Nelson. I'll be a senior this year, and I play volleyball, basketball, and softball.
So you stay busy,
Yes.
just to say the least. Pretty much the off season is no off season for you.
Yes.
Which, hey, it keeps you busy, keeps you athletic. It's great. So, but we could talk about sports all day long, right? Like we could just sit here and go with it. But instead of doing that, we're going to do trivia. So I've got 8 questions for you. They range from anything of SpongeBob to volleyball to the new Barbie movie. So there's everything that's listed on this list. So first off, are you ready for trivia?
Yes.
I didn't even give you any warnings. We just went into it. So first question is, what country originated the sport of volleyball?
Ooh.
It might be easier than you think. If that helps. Probably not at all, but
I don't even know.
just throw one out there. We can even just pick a spot on the map, point your finger at it and go, yeah, that looks about right.
We'll go with Canada.
Gonna go with Canada?
Yeah.
It's actually the country you live in. It's the United States. It actually developed as a YMCA sport and then transitioned into high schools and then collegiately and now professionally. And it combined basketball, baseball, tennis, and handball. Weirdest thing ever. If you've ever played handball, that's actually a really good time. A lot of people haven't. That's a sport, if you haven't tried, Hannah, highly recommend. So we're 0 of 1. It's okay. We're doing just fine. Because this one is actually related to you. But it's not volleyball related. It's softball related. So I looked up some of your stats from last season. Impressive stuff, by the way. You were second on the team in RBIs this past season. How many RBIs did you have?
Ooh. 15?
15?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
How about this? I'm not even going to say anything. Well, I am actually going to say something. You're undercutting yourself by quite a bit.
Oh, geez. Okay. 32.
32. Final answer, locked and loaded.
Yes.
It's actually 27. So you were 5 off. I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a buffer, but it was all right. We're doing just fine. 0 of 2. We still got 6 more. Like 6, we can get in there. We can rock and roll. So this one has nothing to do with sports. Have you ever watched a Marvel movie in your entire time?
Yes.
Okay, good. This might help. So if you were to watch all of the Marvel movies in chronological time, what movie would you start with first?
Would it be Captain America?
Yes, we did it. We're 1 of 3, Hannah. Captain America, the first one, and one of my favorites. I don't know, what's one of your favorite Marvel movies? Do you not really have one?
I don't really have one.
I
like all of them that I've watched. So
okay, perfect. Well, you're just a lover of all the Marvel movies. I like it. So 1 of 3. Next one's kind of go back to your childhood a little bit. Go back to when you're just sitting there watching TV and you're watching SpongeBob, right? In SpongeBob, who are the 2 heroes that help protect Bikini Bottom? They're old in the show.
I cannot remember their names, but
you can like imagine it, but you can't.
Was it Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy?
Yes.
Yes.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I'm actually impressed you got that. A lot of people are like, oh my God, what are their names? And then they just never get it. So we're 50%, Hannah. This is the best we've done so far in the first 4 questions. I'm just happy that we're getting somewhere. So this is the next one. Do you watch any NFL football or college football?
Kind of.
Kind of? Okay. So this one's an NFL-based question, and you have options. So which of the following NFL teams have never won a Super Bowl? A is the Green Bay Packers. B is the Detroit Lions. C is the New England Patriots. And D is the New York Jets.
The Lions?
Locked and loaded?
Yes.
You've got 3, Hannah. I'm just impressed. I mean, kudos to you. We're getting somewhere. We're doing lots. The Lions actually have not won a Super Bowl ever, and they're the oldest franchise in the NFL to not win a Super Bowl. So you can use that fact for your friends. They've almost been around for 100 years. They've been around, 93 years this year. It'll be 94 next year. Don't ask me how I know some of this stuff. I actually didn't write that down. I just know it. Like, this is the stupid knowledge that you obtain. You know when you take a test and you're trying to think of the answer and you couldn't study for it? That's the knowledge I have going through my head. I don't know. Maybe you have weird facts going through your head when you're taking a test. I hope so, that I'm not the only one who did that. So, but anyway, we're going to move on to question number 6. This one might be a bit difficult, but I got a hint for you. So how many road games did the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team lose last year? Hint, it is more than 10.
13?
Final answer, 13.
Yes.
You were 1 off. It was 12 games they lost on the road last year. They were 1-12 away. They're kind of looking to do a rebuilding season this year. So, hey, it's fine. We're still 50%. You got 2 more to go. If you get either one of these correct, you'll be at the top of the leaderboard, which would be beyond impressive because these questions I feel like are equally as hard as the last 2 or last 4. However many of these I've done. So this one's just a bit random. You're a volleyball player. You use equipment and everything like that. So there's many equipment manufacturers that make volleyball-related equipment, such as Nike, Adidas, Asics, Under Armour, Wilson, and others. What is one of the other brands that make volleyball equipment, not that I've mentioned?
Ooh. Now I'm not going to be able to think of anything. Oh.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Could you say the ones you said earlier?
Sure. So the ones that I mentioned were Nike, Adidas, Asics, Under Armour, and Wilson. What is another brand that also makes volleyball equipment that I haven't mentioned?
Is Mizuno one of them?
Mizuno is one of them. You actually wear Mizuno shoes?
I
Some
don't.
players
I
do.
wear Nike, but I
You
know
wear
some
Nike.
people that do.
Okay. I never wore anything Mizuno or anything like that. I wore Asics one year, and I will tell you this, stick with Nike, because the Asics, I went through 2 pairs in one season, and the bottom of the sole actually came off in a game.
My goodness.
So if you've never seen that happen before, I have, and I'm the person it happened to. So don't buy them. Everything else they make, I guess, is fine, but don't buy those. So you got 4 questions correct, Hannah. So kudos to you. If you can get 5, this would be impressive, especially on this question. So in the latest Barbie movie, which I haven't seen, I've heard it's good. Have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
You have seen it? Is it good?
I liked it, yeah.
You liked it. Okay. So how many wigs did Margot Robbie, who's the main character of the Barbie movie, wear? Hint, it's under 30.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's a lot. 19?
19 locked and loaded?
Yeah.
We were so close, Hannah. Like literally so close. It was 18. I know. But you got 50%. So kudos to you because, I mean, that's just awesome. I've got to do that because this is impressive stuff. 4 out of the 8 questions you got correct. So congratulations. You're now top of the leaderboard here. So I guess we all need to bow down to you throughout the season. So we're going to move on to some questions about me. No one knows about me. That's kind of the whole segment of this. It doesn't appear on trivia. It doesn't do anything to hurt your score. But it gets for you to know about me and for random people who watch this podcast also get to know about me. They might not want to even hear this part. They might just skip over it in the video or podcast. But here's a couple questions for you. What position did I play while I was in high school playing volleyball?
An outside hitter?
Outside hitter, final answer?
Yeah.
Actually was a defensive specialist, played only back row. You can't tell on camera. I'm short. I'm 5'8". Couldn't block to save my life. I could hit, but if you asked me to block, it was a sight to see. Never really happened. I could jump, just when you're 5'8" and you got about a 10-foot net, it's kind of difficult. So, moving on from my shortness, a random other question: what was the brand of my first vehicle?
Ooh. Let's go Chevy.
Chevy locked and loaded?
Yeah.
It's actually just the opposite. I owned a Ford, and then I owned a Chevy, and now I own a Honda. I went through cars like water and couldn't tell you why. But, hey, it's fine. Those don't count. Now you know what I drove. I drove a 2001 Ford Ranger, and at one point it was so rusted when you got in the vehicle and where the floor is, it was rubber, and then underneath it was a hole. I didn't know the hole was there until it was snowing, and I saw water like coming in and gushing in. I'm like, that's a new one. So there you go. Now you know that I had that and went through some trauma in the past of my vehicle. So we'll move on to something about you because, who cares about me? Let's move on to you. What are you looking forward to most in your senior season? This is a question from your coach.
I'm just looking forward to playing with all of the underclassmen that I haven't been able to play with before and just like being able to learn how to work together. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's great. That's like a leadership quote. If you wanted to put that on a poster, you definitely could. So that's great. And a couple other things that I want to get to know about you. I mean, how have you been getting prepared for this upcoming volleyball season?
We've been practicing doing a lot of quick sets. We're trying to go quick this year. So just really getting into the hitting and all of the different transitions. And we've been working hard in that in practice. So
how have the quick sets been going for you? How's that kind of adjustment? Because it's a bit of an adjustment if you haven't done it as much before, especially with timing.
Last week it was a little iffy, but this week they've gotten better, much better. So
good. Seeing improvement. That's good. So, I mean, kind of talk about some other sports that you're involved in. I know you mentioned basketball and softball, and just kind of talk about what you did for those sports in the past seasons and kind of even what you're looking forward to those in your senior seasons.
I've kind of been in basketball a utility player, so just playing wherever I need to be. Really locking down on the defensive end is what our coach likes to focus on. In softball, just trying to improve my batting as much as I can and make sure if there's a ball coming at me to field it cleanly. But I'm still in all of the other seasons. We're going to have young team. So just being able to play with all of them and help them adjust to the high school speed of things. So
I don't know about you. I found that the younger teams are actually really fun to play with because it's an experience that you get to help develop. Like your coach is trying their best, but you're also doing your best as well. So, I mean, kind of how has that been for you with the younger athletes so far in volleyball, at least?
They keep it fun. Their energy in practice is great. They like all of the help as our upperclassmen like that they give them. Uh, but they've been great to work with. They have a lot of hustle and they just have a great mindset for the season. So
That's great. And I mean, kind of talk about even outside of sports, what other activities are you involved in? Do you work? Are you in 4-H? Kind of just talk about that.
I kind of work for the city here in Elkhorn. I get to play city clerk sometimes, and I
Wow.
get to clean the library and town hall. So
How's
that's
that
what I kind of
experience?
do.
How does that all go?
So like our pool just closed yesterday, but I would get to like count the money and do all that for the city clerk. But I just clean the town hall whenever there's a party coming in or whatever, or a meeting for the library. It's just about every other week. So, but it's fun.
That's great. That's definitely unique jobs. I
Yes.
haven't heard that before. Like, oh yeah, help with the clerk's office. Like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, that's definitely a unique one. So kudos to you for getting out there and working. So kind of what are your I mean, you said you mentioned you watch sports a little bit.
Mhm.
Kind of what's your favorite sports team or even your favorite athlete that you like right now and just kind of talk about why.
Well, my family, they're really big Iowa State fans.
Okay.
Also Kansas City Chiefs fans, but one of my favorite teams to watch is the Oklahoma softball team. They're just very energetic, and I love to watch them. It's fun.
They're a lot of fun,
Yes.
especially that later portion where they were playing just tight games every single
Mhm.
time. It's just quick action. I mean, softball versus baseball, if you like one or the other, you got to kind of choose because one's like quick, fast paced action, the other one's kind of slower. But no, they were a fun team to watch. Who was your favorite player on Oklahoma this year?
Oh, I don't even know if I can pick one. Mm.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I mean, it's a tough situation. They're all very, very good, talented athletes.
Yes. I don't think I can pick one.
Hey, that's fine.
I just think the overall team, their chemistry is very good. So
That's fun. That's a good choice. That's a first for me too. I mean, I've heard a lot of other people, mention colleges, but for someone who's in Iowa to mention an Oklahoma team that's their favorite, that you definitely get out there and watch sports. So good for you. So, what are you most excited for about this season in volleyball?
uh, maybe just getting to play new positions because I've mainly been a middle hitter, but I've been hitting kind of outside and just really working on back row stuff and passing. So
You guys been working on a little bit of back row attacks too, kind of getting you ready for that.
yep,
Awesome.
especially with our quick sets, just whatever we can do.
Trying to change it up, just
Yes.
see how you can kind of strategize on the floor. That's great. So, kind of how have the practices been lately for volleyball? I know you guys have almost been in 2 weeks of practices, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And just trying to transition into that and just how has it been going and kind of what even your favorite drills have been so far that you've seen the team be successful in?
The practices have been going good. There's been a lot of energy and enthusiasm, so that's been good. But we've been working a lot on our hitting and passing. We're trying to do more low trajectory, so uh, just to keep it quick. But one of my favorite drills is called the Munciana passing. It's just making sure that we have the lower trajectory, but it's really fun when we make it into the net and our whole entire team goes crazy.
That's awesome. And just one last thing for you here, Hannah. Out of all the teams that you play throughout the season, I always had one that I like to play the most. What's one team that you're looking forward to playing this season?
Oh, I think Coon.
Okay.
That's been one of our bigger games in our conference each year. So I think we're excited to play them again.
How did it end up going last year for you guys in Coon Rapids?
Ended up winning in 5 sets, so it was a close game, but
Those are always great games.
yes.
They keep you anticipated. That fifth set is just shaking all the time. It's so much fun, though. So, Hannah, I've got one more question for you. This is from our last guest, Jack Fullman. He was from the Cam football team. He asked the most basic question you probably could on the podcast, but I liked it. What is your favorite sport?
I'd have to say softball.
Okay. And why is softball your favorite?
Just it's in the summer. I think just being outside is nice, and I was brought into like baseball and softball at a very young age, so my whole entire family played it, so it's just been fun.
That's great. I mean, it seemed like you had a lot of fun, especially you were batting over 300. I think you're 327, if I'm not mistaken, batting. So it seemed like you had a lot of fun with it too, especially at the plate.
Yes.
That's great. And Hannah, now I got to ask you this. You got to come up with a question for the next guest. I don't know who the next guest will be. You don't know who the next guest will be. I haven't even chosen. But you got to come up with a random question. It could be about anything. It could be sports related. It could be, did I have lights on in my background of the room? Like, you can make them work for it. So kind of up to you.
Whether or not they're a cat or a dog person.
Cat or dog person?
Yes.
That's a good question. What are you?
I'm a dog person.
You're a dog person.
Yes.
Do you have any dogs, actually?
Yes, I have 4.
4? Wow.
Yes.
You not only stay busy on the field, you come home and you're busy with 4 dogs.
Yes.
But hey, you get cuddles, you get the love with the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't ask for anything better. And I couldn't ask for any better interview. Hannah, congratulations on trivia. 4 out of 8. Best so far in the upcoming podcast. So kudos to you for that. And thank you for joining with me here today.
Thank you.
So big thank you to you, and big thank you to everyone who is watching. I'll see you, Hannah, throughout your volleyball season, and I'll see our guests next week. So good luck to you, Hannah, and thank you all for tuning into the upcoming podcast. We cannot wait to see you next week.
This presentation of the upcoming podcast has been an exclusive presentation of Meredith Communications. Any use of this podcast without the express written consent of Meredith Communications is prohibited.